Hey everyone, and welcome back to Episode Club. Today we are going to be talking Season 7, Episode 3, The Queen's Justice. And joining me today are no strangers to Episode Club, and whoever unmutes first gets to talk first, as always. And again, we got John, who's unmuted.
Am I supposed to be here?
I don't know.
I just got a message that said hello. I'm like, okay.
I mean,
John is so confused.
No,
I'm very confused. I just spent 3.5 hours talking about American Gods.
Oh gee. If you want to join us, and like, hey.
If you want me to stick around, I will. If not, I can drop out.
It doesn't really matter to me.
You're unmuted, so introduce yourself to people.
I'm Jin St. Baptise. That's what I do on Wednesday nights. And I'm frozen right now, I believe. So yeah, that's all I have to offer.
Yeah, I think you are frozen. So I'll go. Hello, folks. AK in the building to talk about this episode and the shenanigans that ensued.
All right. Good evening. It's Benji in the balloon. It's somewhere over there. It's slowly dying a slow death.
Damn balloon!
I know. It's still up for right now. But thank you for having me. And of all the episode 3s of season 7s, this was definitely one of them. So let's go.
And thanks so much for having me on, Sasa. I'm ready to talk about this shitty episode. No, I'm just kidding. This was actually a pretty decent episode. And, kicked John's ass a couple of times. I will go ahead and say hi to everybody in the chat if you would like.
Sure.
The Imagination Realm, how is it going? Otila Angel, I am doing my dishes apparently. Alicia Kingston, what is going on? John St. Baptiste fell out of the panel. Phil H., how are you doing, my man? Fandom de Saint, what is going on? We'll see you on Mondays. Dark Mother, how is it going? The Fearless Mermaid. We talked about mermaids today. Be on the lookout for nooners of locations and lore. White Harbor tomorrow. Catherine Harding, hashtag Tootin'. It's coming. What is going on? Living my Rhapsody. Man, I'm getting good at this. All right, everyone, let's get into the show.
Yes. Yeah, and before we do that, just because I promised I would, shout out to Linda R., who sent me a lovely package. If you haven't seen it, it was on my Facebook. But, and I know because BBM's here, might as well do it. She sent me the George R. Martin Funko Pop, which I was like, yes, because obviously I cannot get this here, and as well a t-shirt. But thanks Linda R. She's always in all the chats. She's just amazing. So let's get on to it. So I guess we'll start in we'll build up the anticipation to Dragonstone. So we might as well talk about Sam and Old Town, or not Old Town, the Citadel, or pretty much. Sam has cured Jorah, and he gets his punishment for it. So, what do we all think?
So I like Jorah here stepping up for Sam. Just like I woke up and I felt better. Maybe it was the change of location or the climate. Just the rest. And Eberus is like, the climate. Okay, fuck off. Get out of here. We don't need you anymore. But that handshake between Sam and Jorah, you can feel the emotion come from Jorah because he knew in his head, I'm not going to be able to touch anything ever again. Rightfully so. I'm not going to. And for Sam to hold out his hand ungloved to shake his, offer that peace, peace to him, it meant a ton to Jorah. Even though I know T-Baby, as Alicia would bring up, quit touching shit, Jorah. Fucking quit touching shit. But It's one like in that scene, it was very much needed and very cool to see.
And a bat flies onto the panel. AK, what's up? I see you unmuting over there.
A damn bat. Yeah, basically, I just wanted to co-sign to what Ben said. You know, Sir Friendzone needs to stop touching shit. That is enough, sir. We have had more than enough of your shenanigans. 10 points from House Mormont for your stupid fuckery. But Sam was awesome in that scene.
But my Kalishi. You got to admire Sam's willingness to be selfless, right? And only to really help Jorah because he knew his father. That's a big amount of honor. I saw a comment from Peter Griffin. He thinks that honor will actually win since everyone's been that's honorable has been getting killed for 6 or 7 seasons, and he thinks it's going to win at the end of the day. I kind of agree with him. I do think Jon is going to live because that's probably the last thing he wants. He doesn't even seemingly have wanted to come back from death in the first place. Now you're going to make him live, and if he's got to have a baby, man, he's going to be so depressed. He's going to need all kinds of stuff. And Lipitor is going to have high blood pressure. It's just going to go downhill for Jon after this.
Yeah, and it's just funny how he's just like with the stick, and he's like, touch, touch, touch. Okay, I guess you're good. And then it's like, Sam, meet me in my office. And then he's like, yeah, how did you do it? And he's like, I just read the books. So it's like, it's a whole thing of Sam and reading books again and how that's so important, instilling us with the book thing. And he's like, yeah, this is your punishment. You have to redo all the scrolls and watch out for the, what is it, paper mites or something like scroll bite or something like that, like mites. He's just like, ah, damn it. But at least it's not the scenes before this in the premiere, which we'll talk about later. But
Sam did lightweight start fulfilling his dream here, though. I mean, even though he followed instructions, he basically performed a miracle, and he always wanted to be a wizard. So I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. The people in the chat. It's like a dark mother who's new to Episode Club. Hello. She said no blood pressure, more likely for Jon. Ha, because he's dead. Jon, what do you think about Sam and not getting in trouble for curing Jorah? If you can unmute.
Click the button, Jon. Just flick it.
I am clicking the bloody fracking button. Thank you for inviting me to your stream, but not really. And then just being like, okay, well, hey, you showed up.
Jon's in Wedding Crashers mode.
So, Jon, any thoughts on Sam and Jorah?
No. I was just saying I'm still in other brain mode. Yeah, Sam and Jorah. Okay, so we are hitting the point. There's a part of me that likes this and a part of me that hates this. I think it's great that we get to see Sam do something great. And I really like that a lot.
Terrible.
On the other hand, I think this is the door opening to a ridiculous series of Deus Ex Machinas that continue throughout the rest of the season. But I don't think, if I can be objective, I don't think the Maester is punishing him. I think that's why he gives him the books. There are these books that he's like not supposed to be looking at, not supposed to be studying, and so forth. And she's like, "Oh, hey, here you go." Like, shame bell, and then here's what you asked for.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Yeah, it's like Eberus is like, okay, I know what you want to study. I know what you need to know because I read these books. No one else is listening to me, but I can't come right out and say, here's what you need to learn. How about you transcribe all of these books? You know, it's that roundabout way to getting the information to the person who needs the information without, you know, making it seem like he's just handing it right to him. So if I look at it that way and not just say I'm getting lucky with Gilly reading a random passage, you know, I'm a little more content with the Citadel and even the secrets of it, you know, kind of going through compared to just lucky Sam found the right happenstance book of whatever Maester.
Yeah, picking out the exact book that he needed. Like, it's kind of just nice to see a scene with not involving bodily fluids from the Citadel, because that was like the last two episodes. So, and Sam's doing what he needs to do. So just to learn everything that he needs to learn. Any more thoughts before we jump to another? Let's see, where do I want? Any more thoughts on Sam, or we can jump to Winterfell with the arrival of Bran, but a conversation that Sansa and Peter Baelish have beforehand. No. Peter Baelish?
Well, I mean, in the north, Sansa has shown that she's learning. She got the breastplate stretcher. I think that's this scene. And she's just kind of... we get the creepy reunion with whoever Bran is at this point as well. And Bronn John Royce is still just walking around with his chest puffed out. I don't know. Like, in the books, he's so badass. I don't know what's going on. Just another character that has been kind of thrown down a little bit, in my opinion. Yeah, we get a little bit more of the details that Bran knows about Sansa, and it's super damn creepy, right? Like, oh, it was beautiful. What was beautiful about that? Like, I know
he's
did say dress and the way she looked.
Yeah, you were beautiful. The dress was beautiful. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you here, John. So I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry. I'll let you finish your thought. Okay.
That was it.
I'm gonna go with mine because it's bear repeating. It's what I said on our show. Bran has gone full Neo from the Matrix here. Like, I see everything, and I see everything in moving color. But I didn't realize becoming the three-eyed raven makes you autistic, because that's exactly what he freaking is right now. And I don't know if it's just a bad director like mentality of way to take it, and I get it. He's getting all this information, trying to figure it out and everything, but you don't go from the sweetheart loving, hey, you know, this, you get this download, and then all of a sudden you're an asshole, you know, and it's just, that's what he's basically become. And it's just like, yeah, it bothers the hell out of me. That's all. Sorry, rant over.
Yeah, with the whole Sansa and the grain thing, it's like, yeah, just have them all send whatever grain that they can to Winterfell, and then we'll deal with it later. Like, if we use it, sure, but if we don't, and the winter's only short, then we'll give it back. And it's like, will Dany burn more food this time in Winterfell? God dang it.
Well, I mean, it would have been almost more humane of her to kill the people and save the food for the North at that point. You know, she's like, I'm going to burn all the food and cripple them. Well, if they don't really get away, then what's the purpose of burning the food? I could see it if they scattered and a lot of them got away, but a lot of them didn't really get away here. I'm getting ahead of myself, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then it's like with Baelish talking about fight every battle everywhere, always in your mind. And it's
always
like also
in your mind. Sansa, hello. Like, I'm doing horrible at it tonight and my voice is messed up. But whatever. Sorry.
Yeah, no. And like the whole thing of I know Cersei Lannister better than everybody here, and she's like, no, you don't. It's like, I know her better than like probably you do and everybody else here.
See, and I kind of disagree with her on that. Baelish has been around Cersei for 17 years, you know, seeing the game, seeing her grow up into her role. So, yeah, you know, Sansa had some direct one-on-one teaching from her for a short period of time compared, but Baelish watched her from afar for a long time. So I would still say Baelish has the upper hand.
Yeah, it's probably that, and also, yeah, but it's like the idea of like, yeah, everybody else probably doesn't know or hasn't been in like the same room as her. So it's just the fact of like, yes, I know kind of like her idiosyncrasies and like what she does and everything. So obviously, come season 8, it's not going to be like, yeah, you've been fooled, you two. But yeah, with when Bran obviously shows up, it's like, and he has that conversation. It's like, there goes Sansa getting another creepy dress comment from another brother, because we know season 6, episode 5, John's like, I like your dress, it's very pretty. And then now, Bran, I like your dress. It was very pretty. Like,
see, those are two different statements, though. The way you even said them, that's just two. Yeah, they're the same words, but that's two complete different statements, in my opinion.
yeah.
Agreed. John, you know, because as Catherine put out, you know, it's reading social cues. John read the social cues of, hey, that dress looks very nice. You know, it looks very pretty. Bran, you were so beautiful that night. I'm sorry that happened to you in our home. Please don't tip me over.
Poor Mino.
Yeah, emo Bran at it again, and I feel a slight bit of sympathy here for Sansa, just a little bit. That when she asks him to explain and elaborate, the answer she gets is just not kosher at all. And I'm sure she wished that she would have just went back inside and left his creepy ass at the damn tree. There was really no other response she could have had.
No. Like, yeah.
I might make I think that Sansa's conversation with Bran here is actually one of the higher points of this episode. Because it's really when you find her coming into her own character. It's really when this for me is the tip off that the whole, at least I hope it was supposed to be a scheme from the beginning. Arya, Sansa, Bran versus Littlefinger is going on. Also, I think when in this scene when Sansa's talking about saving the grain, saving the food, it really contrasts her character with Dany, who is destroying food. And I think that really shows you that her character cares more about the people than herself. And this is coming from the point of view of a very, very, very vocal Dany hater. But I think it's contrasting the two characters, because like Sansa cares about like, hey, yeah, we might take away a bit of the food for now, but it's because we're saving food for everybody for later. And Dany's like, burn them all, burn them all.
It's next episode, but yeah.
Well,
Goddamn hot topic, burning them all. Goddamn, you know, it's just wrong.
Tyrion says this episode, she just wants to save people. You know, that's all that's her whole mission, her entire life, which, man, it makes me wonder why Tyrion said that. Oh, bait and switch. Because he knows a little better. And, well, his fears may be justified at this moment. I'm not saying she hasn't tried to do the right thing, but she's got to continue to do the right thing. What's she going to do when she finds out, the throne is not her birthright? I think she's going to freak out, honestly. And if she doesn't, it's going to be a great evolution of her character, in my opinion.
There'll probably be a little bit of a burn them all kind of situation, or at least she may slightly treat him like Viserys a little bit in terms of like now it's me, like that whole thing, like when in the beginning when she was then married with Khal Drogo. It's like that whole thing of like, yeah, but I'm doing better, blah blah blah. So, hey, Abby.
I think Microverse Finger needs to just have all of the seats from now on. And also with Sansa and the planning and whatnot's actually just reminded me it's almost a callback to season 1 when Catelyn was going around doing the same thing.
Yeah, and she was. It was a callback to season 1, season 2, and Catelyn's in the war camp, kind of trying to help guide. But
not specifically the war camp, but the planning for Robert's arrival at Winterfell.
Oh, I got you. And you're talking episode 1. Okay, yeah, like the Lord Ladyship. I was kind of thinking of the Sansa part where she's walking. She's like, shouldn't they be putting leather or cloth on those breastplates because it's gonna be cold, And it was brought up in our show, but like Luke and Glenn were saying, well, yeah, but it's like we just forged these, so we know what we're fucking doing. But at the same time, it shows her knowledge of, hey, this needs to be done, and fine, maybe it didn't need to be done right this second, but it needs to be done, and showing that she knows the North, she knows what people are going to be dealing with, compared to these Southern lords or whoever might still have some Stannis followers, might have some Vale men who might not know how cold it can fucking get.
Yeah, they didn't even take in, the biggest problem with that is the frostbit nipples. They didn't even mention that.
Where is the nipple tape? Where's the nipple tape? That's what I have to know.
Yeah, like the rubbing of the nipples. Oh, no, that'll be like, you'll just hear like that's and with the battle episode, just like ow, like after.
Yeah. In the words of Jeremy from Cinema Sins, skip. Let's go to the next one.
Oh,
no one wants to hear about nipples.
But yeah, it's her learning, obviously, or us understanding how powerful she is and how more of a commanding force that she is, and then obviously showing the contrast that will come in the next episode when Dany does burn all of the food from Highgarden, which is like the best probably place to get all your food. Anyway. We can go. I guess we'll go and talk about King's Landing, where we see Hot Topic Euron show up with Yara, Alaria, and Tyene, and he serves them up to Cersei. No.
Fucking Captain Guyliner again. This little bastard. And I said this on the Drinks and Nose Thing stream, and I'll say it again. The fucking people, the small folk of King's Landing are fucking Twitter. That's basically it. They don't know what the fuck is happening. Just, some random thing comes along and they're cheering for it for no damn reason. Okay, so what? He caught a few prisoners. You don't know those people's fucking story, and the bitch that this damn asshole represents, y'all were throwing shit at, literally throwing shit at a couple months ago. What the fuck are you cheering for?
Yeah, but kind of devil's advocate here. Think of it this way: they have no news source incoming. They have nothing. All they are told is these are usurpers. These are people fighting for a foreign invader. They've chosen the side with the Dragon Queen who wants to come in and rape all the men and murder all the children. And it's one of those of. So they're told this, and hey, we just dealt a huge blow, and this is the prisoners. So in that aspect, if you're told that, and that's all the information you have, it's understandable why the mob mentality could switch to that sense. I completely agree with you, AK. It's like, use some common sense. It's like
they don't like Cersei. That's the thing. Like, how are you cheering this hard? Why?
You gotta celebrate the small victories. It's a dull, meaningless life in the medieval times. You gotta just celebrate the small things.
Yeah, and like we said, AK, on the ladies' edition of Episode Club, the small folk, it's just either them or the people in the Red Keep. It's like never just like the other people.
Right,
so
yeah, where's the actual noble class of King's Landing? They're never anywhere to be found.
They're hiding, and damn well should be, from all the craziness that's going on, I'd be lurking in the shadows myself. And as far as the townsfolk or the peasants, the common folk go, they don't have anything to hold on to, and any small victory seems like, makes the world a little brighter to them, because we see how the masses just change in an instant. And this has a lot to do with food, hunger, the threat of being killed, raped, war, having to sell your children. Even sometimes it gets so bad, and even young boys and girls having to go into Littlefinger's pleasure houses. It's not a good thing. So that's why I think emotions are heightened, and they react so fervently at good or bad news, or what they perceive to be good or bad news. Rant over.
Meh, they still bother me. Fuck them.
Yeah,
I didn't say they didn't bother me.
I agree with Alicia here. You get the plebes look. But it's an exaggeration. It does feel exaggerated. You had in the real world, you had Tiberius with his, bread and circuses, so to speak. You had the Colosseum. You keep the masses pleased. I totally agree, but you show Euron coming through in his triumph. I have one comment about that, and then I'll shut up, Mackenzie. But my one comment about that is,
I second that.
I would like.
Go ahead, go Johnny.
Now, I just want to say one thing about Ilaria Sand's spit take. How many times did she have to do it to even? She was hard. It barely even got out from her lip. It almost dripped down her face. It was so bad. Not saying people should know how to spit, but that was just, I don't know. I found that funny. I focused on that for some stupid reason because I've seen that show so many times. You know what I mean? We focus on stupid stuff.
Oh no, I've rewatched this one a few times now, especially lately since we're catching up to where we were. So this not too long ago, I could notice the exact same thing, Johnny. And I thought about it. And here's the thing: you think she's been a prisoner of Eurons for, let's say a week, maybe getting traveled back across Blackwater Bay? Maybe not that long, maybe 5 days. Do you think he's giving her all the water? Do you think she's actually hydrated and all that? So if it was done on purpose that way, that is beautifully smart. I don't think it is. I think you're right that the actress just probably couldn't get the right, projectile to make it meaningful. But thinking about it, kayfabe wise, for my wrestling fans out there, it makes sense. She can't muster. She wants to spit, but she just can't muster up the strength or the, liquid.
The strength may be the better. That was a lot of saliva. She didn't have the cotton mouth. I can attest to that.
Yeah, not really. And then
true. Oh, sorry. I had one other thing to say to you, Johnny. Your mention of where the middle folk, like the higher lords and stuff, they're holidaying in Pentos. They're like, fuck this shit. We see this. We're coming. We're summering. We're wintering in Pentos. We're out. We're gonna stay with Ilaria or Ilario.
Ilaria. No, thank you.
Yeah, we'll go find some lemon trees. Anyway, yeah, and then the next kind of part of this is Cersei and Qyburn with Tyene and Ilaria, and basically Ilaria's like, well, I'm about to poison your daughter, and you're gonna have to watch as she dies. So, is this did you feel ever that this was a great power move for Cersei, or were you just like, God damn it, this bitch is just evil?
One thing I felt good for Cersei. That's it. Like, I had no remorse for these people because they did a horrible job at it.
Yeah, no, I actually agreed. I think this is completely fan service. This is complete, and I'm okay with fan service. I like fan service. It's we fucked this up. We're gonna make these people go out on the worst way possible. Like the end of last episode where you had Nymeria and Obara hanging from the bow of the ship, getting taken out by their own weapons. And this one, Tyene's getting taken out with the poison to make Ilaria suffer. It's like, that is perfect, because yeah, like John said, you fucked up the Dorn plot line. You had these great characters that you could have worked with, but you didn't. And now you have to, we have to get this. I had a word in mind, but I can't think of it. We had to get this closure to just get rid of it all. And it was very well done. One quick thing I wanted to go back really quick to the last part. I meant to get out to. As much as you guys might hate show you're on, I love fucking Hot Topic Pacey. Fucking, does she like it soft? Does she like it hard? Little finger in the bum? Just the way he fucks with Jamie is so beautiful, so beautifully done. And I makes me so happy because Jamie was always that guy who fucked with people. He was that guy. And now he's getting it all the time. Like Loris did it to him. Now Euron's doing it to him. It's fucking hilarious. So anyway, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I do totally agree with that. I'll give Captain Guyliner cool points just for that. And yeah, as far as, Ilaria and the Sand Snakes go, you deserved it.
Hashtag they deserved it. A series coming soon.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, you're on just a weirdo, but with like, we'll still be brothers, and it's like Jamie's like, what? Just like, because of the whole plot line. I don't know if they'll get to be brothers, but hey, who knows at this point? But yeah,
that really was the genius of Euron right there. He specifically said we need to talk as brothers.
I think he was talking like Eskimo brothers, kind of thing for the league fans.
Euron's cool with that. Jamie's face, Nikolai Coster-Waldau, that like his face. I'm sorry, I haven't seen that good of facial acting since Bruce Lee. I mean, it's it's hard to pull something like that off, and the way they exaggerate, when people usually exaggerate that much, it's not believable. But the way he just, you wanted to do it yourself when you're watching it because you can feel that emotion. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and then you're right. You're right, and then Euron just shutting him down like, night down. We'll talk later. Just shutting it down.
Not public.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying that I think that Captain
Guyliner
Euron Sparrow has bad dialogue written. Like he does, but he's not Euron. He's not my Euron Greyjoy.
Completely fair.
Yeah.
Completely fair. No, I absolutely agree. I just, if they're going to take it this direction, I'm glad they got this actor to take it this direction.
Oh, yeah.
I think he kills it. So, but I do agree with it. The novel you're on, absolutely 100 times better.
That's not my Euron.
Yeah.
That's not the Cthulhu mythos freak that I've been obsessed with and writing about for the past 4 years. Years, I can't count anymore. I'm too old.
But so I did want to say with the Tyene scene too. The first time through, I did kind of feel bad for her. I know I'm seeing the face, Johnny, because in fairness, it was mother. It was Ilaria. It was her bitch ass pulling this move, killing Marcella. So I felt bad for her daughter who didn't really have a part until I did my rewatch through. And Tyene is the one that gave Ilaria the antidote.
Yep, they all knew.
So they all knew, and so it was like, okay, never mind. I don't feel bad anymore. Like again, first time watching it through, it was like, yeah, I felt bad that this time or the recently. Nope, not at all.
Right, and that's the fuck shit that they did with Dawn. Ilaria is actually quite peaceful in the canon book verse, and all of this dumb shit you did because your boyfriend died in rightful combat for that he volunteered for. No one fucking murdered Oberyn, bitch. Calm your tits.
Yes, it's well. Yeah, I do have to say that's one of the other high points of this episode. It was the best way that they could tie a bow and spray some perfume on a cat turd.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
I do that. Yeah. walking cat turd that I am.
Oh, geez. Sasuke brings up a funny point of what would Cersei
Does my metaphor at least make sense? Does my metaphor at least make sense? Like Dorne in the series is just a big bloody cat turd.
I don't know.
The old adage is just stick with it, pretend like it worked. I got it.
I felt like it.
Why not?
If it didn't, then I apologize.
You're waffling, John.
So Sasuke brings up a funny point of what? Cersei's lipstick color. What would it have been called? Poison watermelon? Dead Barbie pink? Yeah, like the fact that her lips were like a flushed color, but then they're just like she obviously with the poison.
Casterly Rouge.
The crimson runs.
Oh jeez.
Crimson runs.
Oh no. Yeah, it's just Cersei's just awful. But she's just like, hey, you get to suffer and watch. Well, I don't get to suffer and watch at the same time. But it's like, you took my baby from me. Screw you, Red, from Abby.
Like, of all the things that they could have tried to do, in their stupid backwardness, they picked the absolute wrong thing to do. You know, Karma's a bitch. Damn it, she deserved it.
Yeah, all they, stick with the storyline in the books. Make her a queen. Huge fucking anyway.
Yeah,
I'm waffling.
We're all.
How interesting would that have been to see, though? Marcella going up against her mom. That
would have been some.
I think it would have been interesting. Like I said before, I think Marcella is the kid that Cersei should have put all of her planning into. I think I would have liked to see that, but meh. What are we gonna do?
As
Be a lot cooler if they did, man.
Yeah, as Linda Smith points out, they didn't give us Dario, so why expect Book Euron? Exactly.
I think Scorpions may have been involved if Marcella came up against Cersei, or at least I would hope so.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Like, it would have been so cool, but you can only have 3 queens instead of 5 queens, even though I think there was 5 queens anyway. Because
there is no limit on the amount of queens you can have.
No,
if only that were true.
But here's the thing: because I'm a poker player and card player and everything, you need to have 4 queens. You have to have the Queen of Hearts, which is Marjorie. You have to have the Queen of Diamonds, which is Cersei. You have to have the Queen of Spades, which would be Sansa up north. And the Queen of Clubs is, coming out with a hammer with the dragons, being fucking Dany. There you go. There's your 4 queens.
There you go.
I'm here for that. I like that. Well done, Benji. Well done.
I have a significantly different interpretation of who's who, but I agree with you, Ben.
In fairness, I kind of just pulled each one of them on my ass right as I was talking, so trying to make it work as I was going.
It worked. The stick stuck.
There you go. Don't question it if the logic makes sense. Yeah, it's just. But that's the last time, and I think that their death scene is, or like the last time that both those 2 actors will be on the show. I think, because I think it was after this episode and this season had finished that they're like, yeah, we're no longer involved in the show.
So they say that
they're gonna get the off screen, just let them die. Like Unella, we don't get that closure of seeing her wiped out. We're not gonna see Ilaria's corpse in the
I don't like
dungeon.
But why wouldn't Qyburn use some of his knowledge to experiment on them, just like in the book? So they're killing that too. I hope not. I can see a scenario because she talks about watching her flesh rot off her bones, and we might not even have to have the actor if they go CGI with turning her into a white. So, we don't have to have a big scene, but that would be a big deal with Cersei, with her coming back like that later. I think it could be a way for Cersei to die, even though, like with AU, I'm sticking with she's gonna poison herself. with the strangler or something else. But she wants to go out like her firstborn, making a video on this. And she would rather go out on her own terms than let anyone
Shameless
kill her.
plug.
Battle of the Blackwater. But whatever, I'll get into it in my video. Subscribe, like, hit all the buttons.
Yeah, congrats on your milestone. You're almost at what? You're like 40
2
away?
subs and counting.
You're almost like what, 40 something away or less than that?
No clue. I stopped looking at it because
I think so.
it's stressful.
But but anyway, we've kind of talked. Basically, it's just those two never to be seen again, and then we get the weirdest scene because it's basically Cersei having a murder Laney boner and running to Jaime, and then this is the first time that they have been seen after a coupling together by a handmaiden, and then after that quick scene, it's her and Tycho Nestorius talking about paying back the Lannisters' debts and the debts to the crown. So, what do you think? Anybody?
I'm sorry, I got wrapped up in the chat. What was the question again?
It's like basically the Cersei Jaime sexy time scene, which then leads to them getting caught by the handmaiden, and then Cersei talking to Tycho Nestorius about paying back some debts.
Yes.
So, go ahead, AK.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So, it's a bold claim that you'll be paid upon in a fortnight. It's like, you know how much you fucking owe, and because we know now what they had planned and what was coming, but when you're like, you will have all your money in 2 weeks. You're like 5 million in debt.
Also, the money's way more than 2 weeks away from them. Like, I am so pissed off at this distance and time thing, and they just take liberty with it. So if you want to predict something based on a time frame, don't do it. Or physics, don't do it. Because the dragon doesn't have to land for 2,000 miles, apparently.
Yeah, right. As Mr. Narrow Sea would say, a dragon can't cross a narrow sea because it can't fly that far. Apparently, I was wrong, but it is a bull claim. But yeah, the whole Cersei and Jaime scene, because it was just that quick, And again, shout out to the body double for this scene. Looked fucking good. This was the one where she wakes up, the handmaiden's there and sees him the next morning and all that. Yeah, body double. If it was body double, if this was Lena Headey, great job. I never got confirmation if this was body double or if this was her.
I can't.
But either way, well done. On it. But yeah, you kind of get that feeling. I see where a lot of people get that mentality of, Cersei and Jaime are Lannister or are actually Targaryen kids, because Cersei, as soon as she burns people or as soon as she kills people, she wants to get laid.
Double. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
I forgot.
Nope. Thank you. But where she, has that mentality of, I just killed someone and now I want to get laid, just like Aerys Targaryen did and all that. I don't know if I buy into that fully, but I can see the parallels.
Like we just summoned Fandom D Saint back to the conversation just because we're talking about Cersei. Yeah, it's just she basically just like shows up and it's like, I know the poison, you've taken the antidote to the poison, but would you really want to do that just in case? It was like
Danny McKay's comment. I'm sorry.
Oh my god! Remember when it took an entire season to cross the Riverlands? Those were good days.
Right. And I was going to say, Johnny, here's the thing. We don't know when technically the conversation with Tycho is happening. She might have already sent Jaime like a week ahead, and the sex scene might have happened. Bullshit. Fuck you. The whole point of the show and the story is the travel, not the destination. And yeah, so I agree with you. Absolutely.
We get some good destinations this episode. We get Highgarden, and we get Casterly Rock. 2 two scenes and places in the show that we're never in the show but only talked about that we've never seen before. But yeah, it's just with like that, and then it's just like you really want to trust your antidote that much and kiss all up on Jamie. It's like you could be a little bit more poison, but anyway. But yeah, I think can't remember who brought it up. I think it was Sasuke mentioned, is this the handmaiden, or this could be a Arya's faceless assassin victim if she goes to King's Landing. Who knows? And then with her talking to Tycho, my opinion is like, they kind of needed somebody for her to have a conversation with besides Jamie. And I think the crown, I think with Robert, it was when Ned shows up, it's like 6 million in debt because of Robert's enormous spending, and then all the fighting, it was like 6 million probably plus.
See, and here's the thing, I don't think I think we've talked about this. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm not trying to interrupt. It's 6 million in debt. I don't think it's because of all Robert's spending. I think we've talked about his microfinger was skimming off the top. Yeah, but also it's more than just that 6 million, because for all intents and purposes, Cersei is kind of running and responsible for Castle Rock now also. And there's a lot of debt that's owed to the Iron Bank for House Lannister itself.
It goes like 3 million to Tywin. Yeah, because the crown owed like 2 million to Tywin.
Yeah, and then he also bought probably, I think, somewhere maybe around half of their other debt besides that. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of money to just say, here, you'll have it within a fortnight.
Yeah.
And it's kind of dumb, especially since anything could have happened. I mean, I think she got lucky that the money at least made it to King's Landing.
Or Dany got a hold of it. Ooh, Dany with her money. Speaking of Dany, where does her money come from? Who knows? But anyway, Justin, did you talk about Tycho and Nestorius? No.
Oh, did I? No, it seems like right here. I mean, Cersei does seemingly put him in his place, but I don't think he went there without a backup plan. Yeah, he's going to get his money, but there's nothing really beholden him into not backing someone else when the time is right. People love people when they see fit. They care for people when they see fit. This is a theme that's in the show, but when it turns, and this isn't notorious for the Iron Bank. In the books, they're backing two or three different. They're backing Stannis and Cersei at the same time, right, Ben? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, they're playing them both against each other. Like they have one on. Well, actually, it might be the same one that talked with Cersei that went up to see Stannis, but they're basically seeing who's gonna be willing to pay the fucking debt. But you're right. They're playing both sides.
And I do also question why the Iron Bank does that. I mean, it's a bank that was founded by escaped slaves. Why wouldn't you automatically go after Daenerys since she's freeing slaves? And you see how Cersei treats her people. It doesn't make sense to me. But I think you guys are right, though, that they're playing both sides to see what advantage they can get.
What do you think about Cersei saying that we know you don't, Daenerys hasn't been good for the slave trade, and, this should be in your best interest because, what is it, liberators or revolutionaries?
Revolutionaries don't really pay their debt, or don't, yeah.
Yeah, whereas basically monarchies do. But just throw that in there.
Yeah, that's another thing I question too. Like, why is the Iron Bank dealing with the slave trade at all? It really doesn't make sense for any establishment in Braavos. But I guess that has deteriorated now because they're all about just money and power.
Yep, because after generations of generations, you remember where you came from, but at the same time, where your money is. It's kind of one of those, where's your moral and where does your history kind of play out together. And yeah, with the whole backing Danny thing, I love how Cersei was saying, you know, yeah, liberators, you know, or revolutionaries, yeah, how have they fared in paying off what is owed? And I can see why the bank, like he's talking novel wise, why they play both sides, because here's the thing. One way or the other, they just want the current loan for the interest. That's why even on the next episode, or 2 episodes, whatever, where Tycho is like, we're going to kind of miss those interest payments. They don't give a shit about the loaning the money and making the money back. They want that interest payment because the interest payment is going to last hundreds of years. And that's the money that's their profit. That interest is their profit. So yeah, it makes sense to play both sides and even say, hey, we might go talk to the Dragon Queen. She might pay, but if not, we can support somebody else that will block her out. So.
Well, to your point, I think you're right. I think we're going to possibly see both sides in season 8, and the Iron Bank will come into play with the Golden Company, because I feel like Tycho let her think that the slave trade was advantageous for them. But if you look back at it, they could have hired a faceless man at any time to kill Danny if they wanted to, if they saw fit. If this was really bothering them, they would have never let her cross the narrow sea. That's what makes me think that he's like, okay, just think whatever you're going to think, because that's one of the lessons we learn here. I can't remember what character it is, but let people think whatever they're going to think of you and use it to your advantage.
Exactly. And on top of it, think of it this way. What is the most profitable time in any history, during any historical period? The most profitable time for banks and everything is war. They want war. They want chaos. They want people coming to them because they need the money, you know? And so if they
Holy
can
shit. Wait. Did the Iron Bank just fucking turn into Hydra? Is that what just happened?
Maybe a little bit. A scotch.
Motherfuck.
Oh no.
Damn, that was my character too. It was Littlefinger that said that. Thanks, Amanda. That was.
I was gonna say. I thought that was a micro finger line.
Yeah,
Thank you, Amanda, the fearless mermaid. Yes, Sansa.
Oh Jesus. Oh, fandom, really? Anyway, yeah, it's just the whole Tycho Nestorius thing. It's cool to see him back, and the even funnier thing is that actor, I can never remember his actual name. He played King. I think it was King James Stewart.
Mark Gaddis. Luke brings it up on every stream.
He played that, and kind of opposite Kit Harington, even though they never actually meet in the show yet. But it's kind of funny. Yeah. In the gun.
Yeah, and he's a writer and done a few other things. And Luke always gushes over every time he's on screen, and I always forget. I remember the guy's name. That's about it.
Yeah.
John accidentally fell into his coffin, I think.
Yeah. I think John's been streaming for like 4 hours.
Yeah, John was on for a little bit beforehand, and I suspect that a little bit of that long bottom leaf might have been involved. Probably some of Gaffer's old brew also.
I was gonna say, because he mentioned it, John St. Baptiste from fucking Gin Alley, you know, because he was down in the gin. He was talking about the gin earlier. So cheers, John.
Quiet as it's kept.
St. Baptiste. Yeah, it's fun to see Tycho again in a different place. I guess while we're talking about kind of Jaime and the Lannisters, we can talk about Highgarden, and we see the Highgarden, we see the sacking of Highgarden, and then the death of the matriarch of Highgarden, Lady Olenna Tyrell. Johnny, I know she's one of your favorites, so I'll have you take the lead on this one.
Well, first off, did anyone else think that Jaime looked like Lancelot from Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail? Ha ha! He's running at the damn castle for like 15 minutes, and he gets closer and closer. Then all of a sudden, he's like a half a mile and closer, and then all of a sudden, he just ha ha and takes him out immediately with one swipe. And he goes out and he even he takes him out immediately with one swipe, and then he goes and even kills all the bouquets at the wedding feast, kills the bride, kills the groom. And this is what Jamie does. So he pulls a Monty Python with the coconuts in the background because you know those weren't real horses. But Lady Olenna Tyrell.
May I just ask, am I here now?
Yep.
What?
Okay, because I guess I've been on this for like the past 15 minutes. Because I actually did have a point, but
Go ahead with it, John.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
no, because Johnny wants to talk about my lady, the matriarch of my house. So please, I won't interrupt. I know what happened to me, and I wasn't even invited. So, well, it was like kind of invited. It was like the sly invite. Like, I guess
Kill him with
go ahead and
silence.
show up.
I think we should all have a moment of silence to honor our dear Queen of Thorns.
Pour one out for Lady Olenna Tyrell.
May she rest in peace.
Hashtag best butts.
May she ever fertilize her children.
Johnny, if you've ever watched the Avengers from the 1960s, yes, actually, she did have one of the best butts.
I'm sorry. Her and Septimore Dane are my hall pass.
In fairness, I would have thrown in Septiunella on that, but I just saw a shot of her, like a picture of her, like in high.
She hurt me.
Have you seen her?
She's a legit smoker.
Of
Yeah,
that damn Septon.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh my word!
Yeah, she's a legit smoker. I would have made a joke of that, but oh yeah, no.
She is a lovely tall glass of delicious cold water. And if you don't know what we're talking about, Google Septa Unella and look at this woman without all that bullshit costume on. She's fucking gorgeous.
Break me.
But continue, Johnny.
Hitting me with the wooden spoon all the while. I didn't. No, that's about. She went out like a G. I let everyone else kind of go for it a little bit since I get to be here all the time, and Ben's forehead rivals mine, so I must yield. I must yield.
Tell Cersei it was me. I want her to know.
Yeah.
The boss is
even
the
more
boss. Fucking final words. Go ahead, Ben.
I'm not gonna lie, even more badasser than that, and if that's proper grammar word, badassery than that. I don't want to go out like your son, choking and retching. I didn't think that would happen. Like that part. I know the badass line of "Tell Cersei it was me." That was the nail in the coffin. But that I didn't think that would happen. Your son choking and clawing at his neck. I never saw the poison work before. That cold-hearted, just calculated admittance. Just, oh, fuck yeah. And the topper, the cherry on the cake, cherry on top was that Tell Cersei was me. And it was so just perfectly timed and lined. But I think the build-up to that is where my just just come on, just cause you know me, I love the sadistic assholes anyway, and that was the most sadistic thing. And here's the thing, even book-wise,
you hang out with me.
What's that?
I said that's why you hang out with me.
Exactly. But even book-wise, we had no official confirmation that Olenna is the one that did it. It was inferred because Littlefinger did tell Sansa, did anybody adjust your tiara? And they changed it from tiara to necklace, whatever. But they inferred it in the book, but that was all it was, an inferral. But now we get the confirmation of, yes, it was Olenna that did it, and it was just beautifully done. And I know even like Abby went back to the the purple wedding scene and was like, where the fuck did it happen at? And it was just, everything shot on there was so great. And yeah, this confirmation just, it was great. Yeah. So yeah, pour one out for the Queen of Thorns. Yeah.
Me.
The one thing I will add on to that. God damn it, I just lost my train of thought. Fucking hate when that happens.
I know, it's the worst.
I'm drawing a brunk.
Yeah, it's just the one thing about just leaving her like that. It's like, did he go back into the room when we were off camera to kind of like bring her out? So she's obviously not just like in case someone goes and takes High Garden. They're just like, oh, a dead Lady Olenna sitting in the corner. Like, it's like, did they deal with all the dead people? Or like, if the Night King goes
She buried under the heart tree.
Yeah, okay, I remembered. Random tinfoil question. Like, I know Littlefinger knew about what was happening, but I don't think he had anything to actually do with it. What do you guys think of the theory that it was Lady Olenna and also Tywin that had set things into motion for Joffrey? It sounds like something very Tywin-like, honestly.
Yeah. No. I've always thought Tywin wanted to get Joffrey out of the way. I've always thought that Tywin wanted to get Joffrey out of the way. He knew he was just a fucking mess.
Agreed. Yeah, Tommen was more controllable, and not even really controllable. He was just
coachable.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. He was coachable, and he also didn't have like that bloodthirsty streak that caused so many damn problems for Joffrey.
Right. Tywin wasn't bloodthirsty. Tywin was just a means to an end type of person.
Yeah,
and also, but he's very vindictive. If you hurt his pride, he will make you fucking pay for it.
Yeah, you know, right. And Joffrey was fucking up the Lannister name.
Not even like, he was legitimately straight up calling him out. He called him out saying, yeah, my father told me you hid under Casterly Rock while he fought in the rebellion. And then he also calls him out when he's like, I want to be informed about what's going on in my small council. You know, he's calling him out time after time after time. So I could see it. I can't say I buy it. I can't say 100% I'm in, but I can see it. I can make the case for it. I'll put it that way, and that's always starts me out. I can find a case.
Then you want to take that bet?
What's that?
What if I'm selling you 70-40? You want to take that bet?
70-40? I'd put it 80-20 that he
100% we'll never know, probably.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course we'll never know.
I would say
because then George can't rub his fingers together.
I would say that the most likely scenario is that Tywin got wind or knew of it and still let it happen. Because I feel like he has too many eyes in the court to not know what went down, especially the Tyrells. They had no advantage in King's Landing. They were being seen doing every damn thing, books and show. They couldn't help it. They just didn't have enough spies there, even with being paired with Littlefinger. The Queen and Tywin still have to be fed information, and Tywin's he's going to find out about that. Now, you could argue that he was kind of dumb at Harrenhal by not recognizing Arya and not realizing a couple of things, but you could also argue that he did recognize Arya and just let her go.
I don't know. You mean Tywin recognizing Arya?
In the show.
Tywin's never seen Arya.
He's talking about the show, Alicia.
The show.
But he never seen her in the show either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He never saw her in the show.
Why would he know she wasn't Tywin's cupbearer in Harrenhal?
Before that, though.
Before that, is what I'm saying. Because you said it might be...
No. Not realizing who he had by her action. He should have known. He knew she was more than what she was. He knew she was hiding. He could have delved into that more. I'm sorry, I didn't make myself clear on it. I don't know if he knew exactly who she is, but he knew she wasn't a low-born girl. He even told her to hide it better.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think his thoughts would have automatically jumped to that being Arya Stark. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it would fit, I guess, for him. But one thing about Tywin that I wanted to tack on with him and assessing Joffrey, he sent this motherfucker to bed like in the middle of the day. That's how little, I guess, respect he had for his grandson as the king. No, perhaps a small vial of milk of the poppy to help his grace sleep. And what could Joffrey do? Sit there, stamp his foot, and act like the brat that he was. And Tywin gave no fucks.
Yeah. Because they do talk about, because I dropped for a second, like, they do talk about Tywin in this, and it's like how, because even Jamie's like a slow learner, like, I was a slow learner kind of thing, especially talking about Joffrey's sword and everything. So it's like, yeah, Tywin was smart, and then it's just like, with even Olenna even bring up the fact, it's like, well, when you ran out of money, you could have come and attacked Highgarden if you really wanted to. It's like, yeah, just like the lion waiting in the grass for their next meal, almost in a sense, and it just was that final moment to strike. And people are now talking about Lyanna's Stark in the chat with him knowing who Tywin knowing who Lyanna was. Yes, I'm pretty sure, because she was the High Lord's daughter, and she was at the tourney of Harrenhal, and everybody knows her name. And Tywin was there because he was Hand of the King. And I'm pretty sure he would, like, if he didn't obviously see her in person, he knew who she was. But I'm pretty sure he would have saw her in person because of all the stuff that happened at the tourney of Harrenhal. Yeah, it's just that, I don't know, trying to fill the gap here.
Well, I mean, yeah, you could make that point. Arya does look like Lyanna.
True, and I think he did rightly guess that she was from the north. I mean, he called her out on it. He phased that out. But again, how likely is it that the former Hand's daughter, is just happens to be in that? And so it's understandable to where if he wasn't absolutely convinced that it was her, he wouldn't call her out on it. I think he knew that she was higher born, but I don't think he pieced it.
Because he kind of talks like around that with the whole what did they say of Robb Stark in the North, and all of this stuff. Like, he kind of just asks about the North specifically, because I think she says she's from Maidenpool or something like that. And she can't always, like, she first says either she says Maidenpool first or she says it afterwards, but she changes her mind because she can't remember all of, like, the like near the Riverlands, like all of the Riverland houses, but she can remember all the North stuff, so she changes her mind. But yeah, I feel like he probably could have figured this is out who she was, probably based off her coloring, the fact that she speaks like Sean Bean, all of that other stuff. Like, you can probably deduce it. He just didn't want to say, because hey, it's like, see how long she can do it on her own. And plus, what would her storyline would have been deduced to being a captor of Tywin, like being captured by Tywin Lannister, which completely takes away her entire book plot. So it'd just be just her sitting there twiddling her thumbs, like woo doo 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 doo. Like,
yeah. For I just want to address what Abby said just now in the chat. It's like Tywin picked Arya out of everyone to have next to him. I don't think that was because he had any inkling of recognition. I think it was because he saw she was a girl, and this girl has been masquerading around town as a boy. And in that same scene, that's when Tywin was basically, addressing all of the leaders there. And they said, have you actually talked to these people to see what they could do? Maybe there's some skills we could use. He talks to Gendry, finds out he's a blacksmith. And Tywin looks at the dude in charge like, what the fuck you got him sitting in this damn pit for? We need weapons. Put him to fucking work. And I think that's why he pulled Arya out of that just sitting there, because obviously just to give her something to do. I mean, and from the jump, he recognized that, there was something cool. I guess, cool isn't really the right word, but just something extra about Arya. But it wasn't anything that would make him think this is the missing Stark child. He saw cleverness in hiding. And then once they got to that meeting and he asked for a book after he was yelling at his cousin, he went to describe what the book looked like. And Arya didn't even need that. she pulled it over. So that was clue number 2 to him, that she's highborn, not actually lowborn. Doesn't necessarily mean that she's the missing Stark, though.
Well, to be fair, she did tell him who she was from the north. Like, she's highborn and from the north. I don't think
she's Stark.
Yeah, and
but
highborn. I mean, it could be Jane Poole. It could be, fake Arya. It could be, because even like somebody like that, in like an Umber daughter, or
ladies don't come down from Winterfell. Like, that doesn't happen usually during war.
If think about all of the families that would have brought with him to King's Landing, he wouldn't have brought just the men that were in charge of the command points that he had. Their whole families would have been going with them. So it's not unfathomable to think that a random northern child is now running around homeless in the realm because her parents were killed.
It's still highborn, though. So she would be at bare minimum able to be like a ransom at bare minimum, because we see how fervently parents want to get their child back. Even smaller houses, they'll do anything. So that's what I'm saying, but we'll move on. I'll shut the hell up.
Well, yeah, it's just the whole northerner from that's just separated. So especially asking specifically about
actually kind of plays into the conversation that I missed because I dropped out, which I apologize for. But Kenzie, do you mind if I talk about my thoughts on Cersei and the Iron Bank for a moment?
Yeah.
Let me clear my throat. If anybody got that reference, I appreciate it. Okay. The Iron Bank wants their fucking money.
No idea what you're talking about, John.
They want their profit.
I'm a white boy. Come on.
Really? That's what we do now, Ben?
I had to call him out on that. Come on.
That's what's hot in the streets. That's what the kids are doing.
It was fun.
That was actually really fun. I'm trying to be all serious here with a little joke, but no, that was pretty. The Iron Bank wants their profit. Okay, so pay off your debt, but you haven't paid off your interest. We are usurers. That's what we do. That's how the Iron Bank makes their money. And the whole slavery thing, we'll turn a blind eye to that because, we founded our entire society on conquering slavery and not being slaves anymore. But, now that we're making money off of it, as opposed to being money made off of us, we're going to act in an entirely different. It's a really interesting study in human dynamics, and at least for me, like both book and show, the behavior of the Iron Bank is so expressive of human behavior, because children don't hold on to their parents' set of morals and ethics, and they deteriorate over a certain period of time. And that is at least what I've always seen from the Iron Bank of Bravos. Because money is the true god. Like you can have your red god, you can have your seven, you can have your old gods, you can have all the money's the real true god of these stupid chimpanzees that we call human beings.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Full stop. Anyway, it's just that's kind of where we kind of leave with Highgarden / the episode is that, but we're missing a few scenes. So if I scroll back, we can kind of go to the very beginning of this episode, which happens to be John and Davos arriving on Dragonstone and meet with Tyrion and Missandei, and we'll pretty much go up to and talk about Varys and Melisandre for now. So, the beach scene. How did you enjoy?
Yeah, and it was a good reintroduction to the two, where between Jon and Tyrion, where the Bastard Winterfell, Dwarf of Castle Rock, just it's kind of that old friend. Like actually, Tyrion is one that really did shape a lot of Jon's formative style of knowing, hey, own what you are. You know, I'm a dwarf, you're a bastard, own it. And so a lot of what Jon had to deal with early on, early seasons 1 and 2, were from teachings from Tyrion that he learned. But it's I like that introduction between those two, and then but then you have Missandei kind of I don't know if it's out of character for her. It just felt odd, like this scene with Missandei and Jon and Davos, where she's like, the queen, you know, welcomes you to Dragonstone. We thank you for coming. Turn over your weapons. Like it was very pleasant, and I guess I shouldn't say odd, because it's very it makes sense to why she's doing it, and it just, for Missandei, to hear it coming from Missandei felt odd. If it came from Grey Worm or something like that, it would make more sense. But Missandei, it just felt odd, because she's usually the nice one. She's the, you know, she's the cooler of the situation, where Grey Worm is the more authoritarian kind of thing, or authoritative, I should say.
That's what my mama said.
That's what your mama said. Yeah, when they arrive on the beaches, it's like, can we take your weapons? They're like, give over your weapons. And then John's like, okay. And then like Davos is like, all right. And then it's like when they take the boat away, John's like, what in the hell did I get myself into? Like, what is it? They take my boat. They take my sword. They almost take my dignity. It's like, oh my god,
take my dignity. Now I'll just say real quick on this. For me, it's interesting for sure. Take a shot, because yeah, that's the first thing that happens. Jon is already going there thinking the possibility of him dying again could happen. He doesn't know what he's walking into, and at least he sees a familiar face. But the Dothraki, wow, they just tower over him, and I'm not gonna lie, Jon and Tyrion are close to the same height. So what the hell is going on? Sorry, I'm short too, so I can make fun. But it's a really cool scene, you know, especially when Jon says, "I'm not a Stark," and then you have Drogon fly right over. That's pretty perfect timing. I dug that.
See, my only agreed. I had to slow it down to make sure it was Drogon. Like, I wanted to double check, because it would have made more sense if it was Rhaegal. You know, knowing now what we know, it just would have made more sense to be Rhaegal flying over. A little foreshadowing that we're losing Viserys. You know, it has to be Drogon, because Drogon's the cool fucking dragon. Fuck Drogon. Sorry.
Agreed. Yeah, it should have been Rhaegal, and if I remember correctly, Teflon the Don had actually done a video way back when about the dragons, and I believe he did say that Dany would actually end up riding Rhaegal, and Drogon would default to Jon. And it seems like there's several seeds for that, because Drogon is the dragon that Jon petted. He's the one that seems to recognize the Valyrian blood in Jon's veins.
Are you guys spoiling season 8?
No.
What are you talking about?
No. We're spoiling shit.
I mean,
I'm hearing things.
We're talking about season 7, episode 1.
About like certain people being allowed certain dragons.
This is.
I just want to make sure that
this is all speculation.
That's not a spoiler. Yeah, it was from a speculation theory video that was done way back when. Yeah, it's not a spoiler.
Okay, I'm just making sure, because you know how much, like, how
I am not trying to spoil your unsulliedness, good sir.
Yes, but we do have side chats, just so it's a little more professional.
I am unsolid.
Yeah.
That's actually beautiful.
Yeah. And,
Don't worry, John. Viserion still dies in episode 6.
anyway.
Or, well, and Reborn.
And the Night
Guys-
King, I think, is male.
Yeah.
And Arya dies in episode 2.
Oh, shit. Yeah. By the way, not a spoiler. That was a Maisie Williams April Fool's thing. It was well done until they revealed that Jimmy Fallon was in on the joke, and that just fucking ruined it. Sorry. I'm not a fan of his, so.
Speaking of Arya Stark, if anybody gets the opportunity, check out AU Pack Mule made a video for me as a gift. Or no, not AU Pack Mule, I'm sorry. Dog Show made a video for me of Arya Stark footage set to You Could Be Mine by Guns N' Roses.
Awesome. Go check that out. But this is Mackenzie L. Burns show, so why don't you take it over, my friend?
Yeah, with the whole Bragle, Viserion, Drogon thing, it's like, yeah, it's because Drogon's the most used dragon, so they have to make him like go up, and it's also the telling thing of in episode 5 when they're like touchy goes down, but they talk also about Sansa in this episode, which is really funny, and it's like, how's Santa doing? It's like, oh, she's fine. She's like kind of not how I left her, but how I left her at the same time. And it's like, then Tyrion talks about how he's never had sex with her, and it's like, this is uncomfortable. I don't want to talk about this. And yeah, it's just also with Davos. It's like, Davos, I know you, and I know how you can read a room. When you talk about Narth, know that she was a slave girl and she did not get to see the pretty butterflies. Like, come on.
True, but in fairness, most slaves from Narth, Missandei is a bit different, have the face tattoos to tell that they were slaves. She does not have any of the face tattoos. So I'll give him credit for not knowing on that aspect. And again, that's not a big played up thing in the show, but she was one of the few slaves from Narth that don't have the facial, even in book.
Yeah.
Also, with Tyrion and Jon's conversation, I liked when, he said, Sansa, she's a lot smarter than she lets on. Jon's like, yeah, she's starting to let on. And Tyrion was like, good.
Yeah, it's like, recognize, like, good job. First wifey, like, good job. Like, second wifey, good job. But yeah, it's like them walking up to the beaches of Dragonstone, which is actually, it's not a real, like, Dragonstone isn't real. It's made for CGI, because you can actually go, I think, to those specific beaches and walk the steps if you really want to. But yeah, the Dragonstone doesn't exist. And at the same time, we're seeing them all walk up the stairs. Mel and Varys have a conversation, and Mel's like, yeah, I'm going to leave, but I'm going to come back because I'm supposed to die here, and so do you. So,
yeah,
and
so Barry's getting kind of played by the Red Witches. Every time he talks to one of them, he's like, oh, what? Because he's always the all-knowing, omniscient, character kind of thing that we've come to expect. But every time he talks to a fucking Red Lore follower, he's like, huh? What? I always find it funny, but it's interesting because they all know his backstory, but he doesn't, kind of thing, or maybe not his backstory, but his future. Like, they all have insight into him, and he's got no clue. I think it's just a collective thing. We're gonna anytime you find out somebody's been fucked over by R'hllor, we're gonna fuck with them a bit.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Varys and that, he's really like the most coolest, calm, collected character. Even when shit went south with Tyrion killing Tywin and he had to go get on the boat, he just assessed the situation real quick and said, okay, let me turn around, get the fuck out of Dodge. And it wasn't a thing. But whenever he talks to these damn red priestesses, he gets fucking shook. Especially that shit that Ken Varys said to him. I think something has to come of that. If I don't see a resolution for that situation, I'm going to be upset, and someone will get a very angry email.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing. And then he's like, Varys, like, did you end on good terms with the King of the North? And it's like, yeah, not really, but I'm not gonna talk about it. That's just like Mel's funny thing. Man, we don't see Mel again. We don't see her anymore this season. So where does she go? Who knows? That's the big question.
Septa Shiny Secrets got to take off. Thank you so much, Septa, for coming out. Got to go to bed, but wanted to say 8 out of 10 fundamentals of spittle. I love it.
Yeah, gotta love that. It's so funny. So we get them walking up the beach, and the next scene we get is cut to the biggest scene that I think a lot of people have been waiting for. Jon Snow meeting Daenerys Targaryen for the first time, and all of Dany's fracking titles. Go ahead.
I'll let other people go on this, and then I'll rant.
Yeah, Johnny.
I think I heard a co-manager of Denny's in there somewhere. I know she's taking on all comers here, and she really goes hard out. She doesn't know this person, and she's telling them her life sob story. It's kind of off-putting. Whereas Jon is the complete opposite. Now, why did they do this? I think for a specific reason. People are going to be blind to the fact that they're polar opposites and handle shit in different ways, right? And if Dany has to learn how to be a little more subtle with her rule. People don't want to hear your whole life story and have it thrown in their face because it makes you feel, I guess, guilty in a sense, and almost like that person is so eager for you to feel bad for them that it just throws you off where you don't want to feel bad for them. And other than that, I don't know. I'll shut the hell up for a second because I went for a minute there.
Now, I feel like there's a moment there where Jon almost wants to laugh, and you can kind of see a smidge of it in his face when he turns and looks at Davos after Missandei is done. And Davos is even looking like, yeah, okay, this is Jon Snow, he's King of the North. And then the camera pans around to Tyrion, and Tyrion's face has like the same look too, like, oh damn. Titles, fucking titles. Daenerys has more titles than a damn library. I don't understand. Cut it out. She needs to be flamboyant, but I think, in the later scene, Jon stops Davos from going in when he says he was stabbed in the heart and whatnot. Jon doesn't need that recognition. He doesn't give a fuck about that at all. He's looking at the task at hand. And I appreciate that with their parallel.
No, agreed. And this scene very much derives of Dany lives off of her name. Jon lives off of his actions. And yes, this is going to be my Dany hate rant. This whole scene is Big Dick Dany coming out, sitting on the throne, all prim and proper, as Missandei gives off her titles after title after title. And Davos just comes back with, this is Jon Snow. He's King of the North. And Davos is a well-spoken man. He could give out, he's the King of the North, the former Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. And, do whatever, make up whatever titles you want to make up for him that he's earned. He can, but he doesn't need that. His actions can speak louder than what his titles actually are. And Dany's whole scene here, I get it. You want to play the big ball. You want to play the big dog. And I'm not trying to be the anti-feminist or anything, but you're a female and you have to show that empowerment, and I'm a strong character and this and that. But here's the thing. You might want to show that you're that big, powerful person, but a lot of times, honey catches more flies than vinegar. Be pleasant. Be nice. Be accommodating. Don't bend over. Don't take my kindness for weakness. Do not think I'm here to bow to you or do whatever. But I don't expect you to bow to me until, and that's my biggest thing is bend the knee, bend the knee, bend the knee. And I love John in the scene where he's like, no, we don't have time for that. And even Jared's like, it doesn't take that long to bend the knee. And John's like, I could, but what the fuck have you done? What have you done for me? Anything, and I love that he calls her out of, because she's like, well, I remember Torrance Stark bent the knee to my great ancestor. Well, I remember your grandfather, or your father burnt my grandfather. It calls him out on the bullshit, calls her out on the bullshit, and it's a great scene. I do love the scene. I really dislike Danny in this scene. Like, she did everything wrong in my book for actually being a good diplomat. She was a conqueror in the scene, and it doesn't play, at least for me.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And there's something that I actually just thought about, like in her rant, when she's talking about how she was sold and whatnot, she says that, John refuses to call her queen. The first thing he addresses her as is your grace. So, bitch, what the fuck are you doing? You're not even listening to this man trying to talk to you. So, I mean, why would he bend the knee right there? That's that Stark blood coming through. No, you got to actually show me something if you want me to bend the knee that easily. Torrance Stark, he bent the knee because he didn't want another field of fire. Aegon and Visenya and Rhaenys proved that no, we are forced to be reckoned with. You want to actually do this. And he made the right choice. But right now, Danny and that fuck shit, no. She can have all of the seats. All of them.
Yeah.
This, for me, like, book-wise, I've hated Danny for a long time. Show-wise, I disliked Danny until this point, and then I was like, you stupid thing I'm not allowed to say on Mackenzie's channel.
I take that as a personal challenge. Now, if I see this chick at any one of the cons, I'm gonna have to try to make her say that word.
I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is the worst. It's been put out.
You stupid. See you next time.
Like, this is the worst diplomacy.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking to somebody who has a whole bunch of. Essentially, we're talking about like Nordic warriors calling him the king in the north. We have a hard ass 7-year-old or 9-year-old or whatever the fuck she is.
10-year-old
calling him king in the north.
Pen.
Like,
Yeah,
who could kick your ass, by the way?
Huh?
Who could kick your ass? Oh, if you take Lady Mormont versus Danny and no dragons. Oh, dude, Danny's gonna go down like Ronda Rousey did in fucking 2018.
Yeah, on the
like,
real, that's facts.
It's like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, size does not matter in a fight most times. It's speed. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm with you on that, Leon.
Exact opposite for other activities, but
it's timing.
You know what, sir? See, that's not where even the conversation was supposed to go.
I know, but I know, but I'm being a smartass, and I like to be. So.
Look here, Private Benjamin. I'm gonna need you to not.
Private Benjamin.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I want a name, please. Give me a name.
Speed is good, but where it's really at, and where size doesn't matter, it's in timing. When you can throw a punch and know where the person's gonna be before they're there. That's the real key. And we see a few people having this. And Danny, yeah, she's gonna fall off of Drogon. This is gonna be her death. No, everyone's gonna be mad. But everyone hates the fact that she could die in childbirth. But why don't you just be happy she could actually have a child again? Which I still don't see. I don't see that happening. Huh?
I'm sorry, like, this isn't a gender thing.
Why are you screaming at me in the middle of my rant, man?
That John
Why are you telling me to shut up in the middle of my rant?
I'm sorry. I'm going into my own rant.
The whole thing with the Danny and the pregnancy thing, it's just like, come on, people. It's like we've never actually seen in the show a woman die because of childbirth, beside the flashback with being Liana. Like, no present day character who's given birth has died in childbirth. So,
but in fairness, I'm just the only person to give birth in the show. Just again, devil's advocate thing is Gilly.
yeah,
That's the only birth we've actually had. So, and I'm not. It's one of the very good point of it's not a played up thing of it can happen. It's not tried. They've not tried to hit you over the head of, hey, remember this can happen kind of thing. So, but yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from with it. It was just made me jump to that. Sorry.
Anyway. Yeah, like.
Can I tinfoil the fuck out of all of you?
What?
Can I tinfoil the fuck out of all of you?
Tinfoil? Okay.
Yeah. Bring on the tinfoil.
No spoilers,
John. What if Bran saw a lie?
I highly doubt that because it's history.
Yeah, Bran can't see the future. He can only see the past and current.
No. But what if it was just a dream?
It's not a dream. It's the freaking past.
And like, how is it past? Like, did anybody write it down? Did anybody record it?
I'm pretty sure right now he can see the past, but he will also be able to see the future because of how powerful a green seer he is.
Like I said, it's tinfoil, but just a thought. What if the whole birth of Jon Snow was just like
No, they wouldn't do that in the show.
Oh, the only thing that would be a dream is him being in a coma since he fell, and then he wakes up at the end, which I would throw something through my TV. But
yeah,
what show was that? The Bob Newhart ending.
There's like the other one that they also came up with that this is all like a couple of the actors are sitting together watching this as a show and like in present day times, just look.
Doing a Muppet style. You kind of Cylon there, Kenzie.
Kenzie's a robot.
Or like the whole thing.
Nobody
how this is dead and John is just in this fantasy world, and like all of these people that John knows are like in this world and stuff. Or looking differently. There's the complete and almost tinfoil as that just Westeros is a park in Westworld. This is Westeros land or whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
I wouldn't be mad at that. I think I would enjoy that crossover.
I would like that just to see the outrage from the fandom, like because I'm very much a chaos fan, so I would love to see the world burn and just everybody just fucking annihilate, like just get so pissed off.
It would be like the King's Landing people 2.0. Shit would hit the fan. Everybody would be rioting.
Yeah, I do think it's going to take more than, like, it's going to be a team effort to win the day. There isn't going to be one single hero at the end of this, in my opinion. Like, it would be cool. I think, like, John Del Vento, sorry, I've had enough Bran. Moving on, Melisandre saving the realm, not Bran. And, I'm okay with that, but I do think she's going to have a part to play. Her sacrifice is going to cause some sort of magical power to be unleashed. Of course, you could say Lightbringer, but this may come in the form of something other than a flaming sword as well. You have to leave that out for possibilities because it is open for interpretation, especially in the show. And it doesn't have to be Lightbringer. It could just be some crazy stuff that happens when she dies. But we know something's happening, right? Because there's power and shadows in her blood.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Yeah, and then with the whole Dany speech of this is what I've done, this is what I've been through, and it's like she's got that speech. Cersei kind of gets that speech at some point. I think she already has had that speech. When does Sansa get that speech? She kind of does have it with Baelish, but she needs like another version of that speech. Maybe when she talks to Daenerys, and it's like, you think that you had it really hard? So did I. But yeah, it's like something like that, and then John's just like the whole thing of like Davos like trying to back him up, and it's like, you don't believe him. I didn't believe him either, but like this happened and this happened and this happened. Like, yeah, and even Tyrion's acting a little whiny in this scene. He's like, "Why don't you just bend the knee to Daenerys?" It's like you could just take him and push him out of the way for a minute. Like, come on, why are you acting like such a B character in this moment when you are an A-level character advocating for Daenerys? It's like it was more or less just Jon, Davos, and Daenerys having this conversation, and Tyrion's like, "Over here, look at me, look at me, look at me." It's like, oh no. But when Davos mentions the heart, taking a knife in the heart for his people, she clings to that, and she's like, "Oh, now I have something to think about in my head." But she never brings it up until she obviously sees it. Well, she brings it up a bit later to Tyrion, but she never brings it directly to Jon, which is like,
I feel like that's something that may need to be touched on next season. Like, I think she needs to actually know, the full mysticism in Jon and how he's alive right now. But, from the way she acts, she probably won't believe it at first.
You would
believe about the White Walkers and whatnots until people almost got killed.
I in fairness, I think she believes it as soon as at the end of 7-6 at the Beyond the Wall, when she sees the scars on his chest, and like literally there's a scar right over his heart. I think that's where she's like, oh, he legit got stabbed in the heart.
Yeah, he took that, but she doesn't know that he died and was brought back. That's the part that I think needs to be addressed.
It needs to be. I don't know if it will. I think they'll gloss over it.
You would think that they would have had like the additional scene. Like, I know this is my weirdo, and like the whole thing of how we get in 7-7, we get the door closed, and then the next scene is just them naked. You would have thought that they would have played up the foreplay a little bit with her directly asking, like, "How did you get this?" Like all of these scars kind of thing. But then he's like, "I don't want to talk about that right now, or I'll mention it later," kind of thing. Like, that would have been better than just straight to boat sex, even though it's like the best scene for Jon and Dany shippers, blah blah blah. But what did you say, Johnny?
Oh hell, I don't remember now. I think it was along the lines of the hell if I know. Oh no, Jon is Nisa being stabbed in the heart. Ha!
Yeah. So it's whoever.
Jon is the fabled wife that Dany loves.
So that means Ollie is Azor Ahai.
Sure.
Because Ollie stabs him in the heart. Because Ollie
watch me, Lord.
Yeah, it's like they could exactly, Abby. Like they could have played up the foreplay a little bit more, because it's like they did it with freaking Missandei and Grey Worm. Like, come on. You could have given it a little bit more with Jon and Dany. But watch, we'll get like a sexy or post-sexy scene with those two again in season 8, and I'll just be like, why waste time on that? But
that is never a waste of time.
No, I meant like the whole...
yeah, I agree. Actually, I do.
It's like
I think like.
God damn it!
I think you'll like the track that I used for this.
This one?
Which, by the way, season 7 coming up right after this ends, like literally.
All right. So after we see,
but also we need to talk about something very important that's happening on your channel.
What?
I believe it's your channel, right? Or Johnny's?
What?
The butt stream.
Yeah, it's on my channel. I don't know when that is happening anymore.
Jon is just here to throw random plugs the whole stream. That's all he's doing tonight.
I'm gonna need an explanation for that. What is this butt stream, Precious?
Was this brought up on? I forget when this was. Was it Johnny's celebration?
It was season. So we did a season 1 recap stream with, I think it was Ben, Johnny, Clarissa, and I. and we talked about all of like the best like favorite episode, favorite character, favorite house, storyline, blah 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 blah. But the very first question that was brought up by the chat was Sasuke, and she asked who had the best butt. So that's where this came from, and then it's just been continuation since. And Johnny, did you want to say something?
No, is that going to be on your channel or Johnny's?
Mine, probably, because it was mentioned. Anyways, Johnny, did you want to say something?
I want to say I have to run a little bit short. I am so sorry, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on, Sasa, and everyone hanging out with me, and everyone in the chat. Much love, much love. Hit all Sasa's buttons. That sounded weird. Hit all the buttons, share it, like, all that good stuff, and we will see you tomorrow on my channel, The Nooners of Locations at Lore, and Lore, 1 p.m. White Harbor.
You got a rating?
Johnny, what's your rating?
Yeah, what's your rating?
I'll give this one 7 out of 10 Atlanta toots. I'm pretty sure she broke wind when she kicked the bucket.
That's what they don't tell you. Every man shits when he dies.
Mm-hmm. Didn't they teach you that in fancy lad school?
They did. Peace.
Cheers, Johnny. Love you, buddy.
Appreciate it, my friend.
I'll see you.
Talk to you soon.
Hey, Johnny.
Yeah, so pretty much after this part is
it's the brood off.
It's just that Varys walks in and says that basically that they catch a Dragonstone, basically saying that Euron has taken most of their fleet. Alaris and Yara, potentially Theon and Tyene, they're all potentially dead. I keep saying potentially a lot today. And then it's the brood off. And then
I did forget about the Varys thing. We want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, and he's just like, and it's like, this is what's happened, and it's like, and Danny's just like, God damn it, like, let's go send more ships. It's like, they're like, no, that's not how politicking and military strategy works. Like, you just don't keep giving your enemy more ammo against you.
In fairness, really quick, I do like Abby's endgame theory there. I can agree. But well, with the first part of it, at least.
Oh, here. Since Missandei's perfect ass will be sitting on the throne when all is said and done, just saying it will happen. Yes, I do. Yeah, Missandei is definitely one of the survivors.
Yeah. So
also one of my two favorite asses on the show. What's her name? Gemma, the chick that plays
Greyjoy?
Yara. Yeah.
Gemma Whalen?
Yara got it going on.
Yeah, female asses. I would definitely say Yara Greyjoy's got the best.
Excuse me, sorry.
We're giving a sneak peek. This is a stream that's gonna happen.
All right, back to topic. Sorry, Abby just made me laugh, and I wanted to call that out. So, the basically Danny finding out about the ships and everything. It was well done of just Varys not calling it out in front of the strangers, quote unquote. But then you get the Theon getting pulled up, and they're like, "So what the fuck happened?" And it's like, Euron has Yara. I tried to save her. If you tried to save her, you wouldn't be here. It's them calling out, and it helps build to the redemption that Theon gets at the end of the season, kind of thing of, he's still Reek. I mean, as much as he doesn't want to be, he's still Reek, and everybody still sees that.
Yeah, he's still Reek. He's a little shaken up, but yeah, just because he doesn't know what's happening to his sister, and obviously we get what had happened earlier. Or it's actually later. But yeah, this Theon's just not just like but yeah, Danny just is like, what do I have to do now? Do I have to give them more ships? Like, it's like, no, and then just Varys in his spidery ways. And then we get to brood off. Oh, you look a lot better brooding than I do. It's like, God damn it.
That is pretty funny, though. Was it fucking good line?
Yeah, that one. And then also, wise man. Oh, that was the next part. Sorry. But how do I get people who don't know me to trust me? Well, that's a good question. I know it's a good fucking question. I need a goddamn answer to that. I like John calling him out on this shit. Just like, yeah, I'm not trying to be philosophical or smart here. I'm looking for a fucking answer, and it just reminded me, I've been in several interviews in my time and everything. And there was one interview that they kept asking me like great questions, like, what would you do in this situation? And I go, that's a really good question. And they go, yeah, that's why we want you to answer it. It's I'm like, because it took me aback, but I was like, okay, fair. I'm just saying that's a great question, kind of thing. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, that was a good line. It makes me laugh every time.
Yeah, it's just, and then the whole thing of like, basically, listen to the people that are on this island, and you'll figure out why she's so loved. It's like, Then it's like, this is where political John theories abound. Where it's just like,
yeah, but if you think about that, okay, talk to the Dothraki. Well, she burnt all of our cows, so we went with the strongest leader. Then you think about, the Myronese. Well, she killed all of our masters, so kind of what we knew. If you think about it logically, like actual, like what a little folk might say, not the medium folk, the little folk. Well, yeah, I heard she burnt all the fuckheads that were enslaving us, and so we had nowhere else to go. So sure, it's like maybe it might not make that much of sense. It might not sound as good.
yeah, exactly. It's just, it's just like, you can do it, but then there'll only be like one person who can actually talk to you, which being Missandei and maybe Grey Worm. Yeah, it's just, it's like Missandei and Grey Worm will obviously be the ones that get to talk to him. Wait, Grey Worm doesn't even really get to talk to John. It's just Missandei who's like, this is what she did for me, and that's about it. It's just,
Grey Worm never gets to talk.
He says,
have you noticed that he always gets interrupted?
He does talk to, he does say like one line this entire episode, and it's, where are the rest of the lettucers? But we'll get to that quickly. But yeah, just basically John wants the dragon glass is what the end of that conversation is. AK, what do you think?
Which part are we at right now?
Tyrion and John on the like on the outside of Dragonstone.
The road off?
Yeah, the cliffs, yeah.
Sorry, Jen saying that she said to come back up. It's a little too bright in here.
Which
It's a decent scene. I liked it. I mean, honestly, I liked any scene with John and Tyrion. I think, after all the stuff they've been through, to come back now in the positions of power that they're both in, for all intents and purposes, Tyrion is looked on as a bastard also. So, there's these two bastard boys from houses that are very powerful, but they weren't always able to tap into that power. But now it's a different story. We've grown up. We've had some battles happen. We've got some scars from all that. And I think there's wisdom to be held there also. And I think they both showed it, especially Tyrion trying to be diplomatic. He's good at playing the game, but, he does screw up sometimes. Case in point, Casterly Rock and Highgarden.
Yeah. Casterly Rock. Another scene that shows up later, but he's like, all I want from the dragon lady is dragon glass. And like, okay. Which kind of bleeds into Tyrion talking to Daenerys, and it's basically just give the man his dragon glass and he'll be fine. And she's just like, fine. But she's relentless. She's didn't want to give it up, and he's like, just do it. Like, come on.
At the same time, I think Tyrion's trying to teach her a lesson about diplomacy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wants this thing that you don't even give a fuck about. So just go ahead and give it up.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm sorry, you're too much of an uneducated person to know that this is an important thing, and because you don't pay attention, you just care about being the mother and all this shit. But like, yeah, and it's important, freeing these people is important. It's a good thing. But hashtag White Walkers coming down to kill you.
Yeah.
And all he's asking for is his dragon glass. That's the only reason he even showed up.
Yeah. And we're still on the Tyrion John scene, right?
Yeah.
I love how Tyrion's like, is there anything I can do for you? It's like, literally, dude, stop being dumb. Give me a win for you. I will get you a win, but give me something. And John's like, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, help me help you, John.
Exactly.
Yeah, just give me more. Basically, it's just can you give me more lines to say?
Like,
yeah.
Who is dumber in this episode?
Okay, good. I'll run with it.
That should be our rankings. Who's dumber in this episode? Like Danny or John?
I still say Danny.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think I would say Danny.
All day, every day. But yeah,
like, I'm a pretty big John hater, but I'm a bigger Danny hater, so I'm biased.
Yeah, it's just yeah. That scene that was basically Tyrion just give me more lines and say something, and then it'll give me more lines later. And
Right.
it's just the dragon glass thing, and just like
Lady Laura Dean just asked if I'm wasted. No, I'm not wasted. I'm working on it. Like I turned the ignition and I'm driving the car there, but I haven't quite reached my location yet.
He can still pass one of the 3 field sobriety tests.
Yeah, and I can fight any one of you.
Yeah, it's just it's just funny.
Yeah. Anyway,
Ben got the joke.
And yeah, Danny's just like, fine, I'll give him the dragon glass. And then they have their first moment alone, if you want to say, where Danny talks about her dragons and how one's named after her brother Rhaegar. Like, can't you be any more subtle? D&D. Like, come on. Like, almost being as subtle as a dump truck in this situation. Like,
I mean, that's their MO, though, ain't it?
right. We're not trying to fool you. We're trying to tell you exactly who this person is, who this maybe somebody important for you to remember.
They're hiding in plain sight.
Yeah. I do like the line with the Danny Tyrion scene of a wise man once said that you should never believe a thing simply because you want to believe it. What wise man said that? I can't remember. Did you just quote yourself trying to pass it along as some wise? I'd never do that.
Lies.
You.
Right.
Because he did it he did it to Missandei and Grey Worm, a couple episodes ago back in season 6. And I like that about Tyrion. It's like, because there are some smart things. It's, you can say that. And it's like, even if he had heard it somewhere else, but you don't quite recall, and yeah, fine. Yeah, I'm the one that made it up. So sue me, kind of thing. But I like that she calls him out on it, but it's that funny quip, but it's a great line of, you should never believe anything simply because you want to believe it. And that's the truth. You have to be shown proof, and I'm not going spiritual on it, but even in the spiritual realm, you have to have a faith in believing what you're believing in because you've seen some realization of that. And
this episode, like in general, it has some really great moments and it has some really awful moments. It's not like Steven's season 5 awful. But on the same note, that does anybody else follow me there?
Season 5, Danny?
No. I'm just saying the episode in general. It has some really great moments and it has some really awful moments.
Yes. Yeah,
Like,
it's just moments where you're just like,
the good is good and the bad is bad.
Yeah. I can like kind of see it. The balloon was trying to get in bed.
That damn balloon.
Yeah. Just Danny's just like, I named my dragons after my brothers, Viserys and Rhaegal. That's like, God damn it. And then it's just like, even John's just like, I'm not as amazed with your children as you are right now. You could put them away. But even then, it's just Viserion and Rhaegal. Like, they just always get distant shots of them. It's just like them far in the distance. So the people making the CGI dragons don't have to go as in depth as they do with Drogon. It's like, put them far away and we'll be good.
Background middle.
Yeah. Background dragons. Yeah, and basically he's like, so you believe me now about the army of the dead? And she's like, go to work. Better get to work. Time's a ticking and you're still a prisoner here. And he's like, God damn it. It's like, John, poor John, you get to be a prisoner for a few episodes. Deal with it. First you're a prisoner at the wall, now you're a prisoner at Dragonstone. Can't leave. Yeah.
Fans, you got anything?
sorry, no, I don't think so. I had to walk away for a second.
It was just basically like how he has like the conversation of like, can I get like, do you approve of my dragon glass mission? She's like, yeah, sure. Like that whole.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you can have the drink." And John's supposed to take, and he does take it, acting wise of, "Oh, thank you," because we don't see the background sign of Tyrion saying, "You didn't even know it's fucking here." It means nothing to you. So it's like Danny saying, "Oh, well, yeah, you can have this car that's been sitting in the back of my field for 20 years because I didn't even know it was a fucking classic, but apparently you know it was a classic, so if you can get that shit running, go ahead." I mean, it doesn't mean damn thing to me. And it's kind of one of those, but she plays up like, oh, she's being the gracious. It didn't mean shit to you, but John takes it the way she was presenting it. Again, I guess as the omniscient viewer that we're seeing it as, it's like, you really didn't do shit. I mean, it's like, okay, good for you. But I'm looking at it from John's perspective, like, oh, cool. Fuck yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Great. Yeah, I gotta win. Even though Tyrion just said, "Can I get you a fucking win?" So you really didn't get a win. You had it's the this season is good. This is a good season. This is a weak section of the season. Is the best I can say.
I have a really good track for it, though. A really good track for it.
I will be checking that out soon.
Yeah, so the last place we have in King's Landing is the chamber with the painted table, where they talk about where they're going with the rest of Dany's fleet. And apparently they're going to Casterly Rock. And we get the voiceover of Casterly Rock. And then we get to see it and the fallout that kind of happens. So
yeah, this scene, I actually really dug this scene because it's very Ocean's 11 like voiceover of, hey, this is what's going to happen. And at the time I'm thinking, okay, this is just Tyrion talking and they're just they're not showing you what's actually happening. This is what he thinks is going to be happening. And then you find out, oh wait, this is actually what's happening. And it's a really cool, well done way of like, what you think's happening, what's not, what's going to, and then at the very end, you get the payoff of, yeah, this is what actually happened, but it doesn't matter because most Lannisters and all the gold is gone anyway, because we get to pay off with the High Garden scene and everything. But I really like the description of it, and Tyrion giving that one last fuck you to Tywin Lannister of leaving. That, yeah, you want me to put me in charge of the sewers? Fine. I did. I did the best fucking job in the world. They were no sewers ever flushed better than mine. But I had to figure out a way to get my horse in. I had to figure out a way to fuck you over if I needed to, and bring back the Bronn line of give me 10 good men and I'll impregnate the bitch. Just fucking beautiful. Bringing that back full circle and so well done. Well shot. One more beautiful shots of, I shouldn't say more beautiful. It just a beautifully shot scene in the entire series. Cinematically, you could see this on the big screen. If you saw an IMAX, it'd be fucking phenomenal. And it just played out very well until the last twist of there's no one fucking here.
No one's here. It's just like, and it's, I guess they put all of the bad people, like all of like the, not bad people, but like the, I guess,
Expendable people.
Yeah, the expendable people, the ones who are least, like, I guess, not
the older, the infirm, the young boys, yeah.
You get to stay. Well, the rest of you come with me. It's pretty much what happened. Okay, what did you think?
I think that Tyrion should have been a bit smarter in his planning. You know, the plan to go into the sewers was sound, but he also knows that, you know, if anyone knows anything about Casterly Rock like him, then it would be Jaime. And I'm pretty sure it's Jaime who came up with the idea of clearing every valuable thing and food and people out of the main castle and leaving just a small contingency force there. It's pretty much like Jaime said, it's the same thing that Robb did at the Whispering Woods. He had a few people garrisoned in one area and he took the bulk of the army someplace else. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's a sound strategy. So, you know, Jaime learned the lesson. He's still a golden dumbass, but yeah, he played that one pretty smart.
Yeah. And it's just like, you can see how tiny Dany's ships are and then how massive the bunch of the Euron ships are. You're just like, oh no.
I'm still questioning where the fuck he found the wood to build all those elaborately carved ships. The Iron Islands don't have no more fucking trees. Where did these mystery shits come from?
Well, that, and also, he was literally shitting King's Landing, let's say a week ago. And he shit sailed all the way fucking around because Casterly Rock's on the other side of the fucking island. And yeah, Luke, shout out to Luke because he pointed that out and made sure, you know, but it doesn't make sense. How the fuck did he get there that fast? Again, time travel, fucking
Little fingers traveling services, getting you where you need to be, no matter physics or time. That's how they did it.
It's just, they really, really play with the time this season, and it just like makes you like for the whole thing want to pull your hair out, especially with what we did with going back to season 1, where it took a month in the summer weather to ride from King's Landing to Winterfell. Like a month. It took them a month to get there, and it's just like, yeah, it only took us about 2 weeks. It's like, or 2 days. It's like, no. Same thing with Danish Dragons in episode 5/6, where it's just like, yeah, they show up in 2 flaps of a wing, pretty much. It's like, yeah, the dragons would have had to rest multiple times. They're not an airplane that can go like long haul flights. It's just like, no. They may be the size of a jet that can go long haul, but they can't do it themselves.
Really good trade winds. That's the only plot I remember. would give Dan and Dave. Yeah, I agree with you totally. Because there's no such thing as very good trade winds.
Mm-hmm.
They're usually like these little things called hurricanes and shit like that.
Yeah, just
I think that was our last location, I believe.
That was the very last place that we had to visit, and it's just, where do they go next? We all know because we've all seen it. But yeah, so they have a Windwalker. No, this is the Night King.
No, a Wind Waker. Yeah, nice. Wind
Windwalker.
Waker. That's from Luke. I get you. Zelda.
I see what you're putting down there, Luke. I got you.
Cheers. Yeah.
I'm just sitting here like, I don't know what's going on.
So Legend of Zelda, basically you can direct what way the wind goes to blow your ship. Yeah.
I'm just like,
Wind wanker. Yes, thank you, DA.
Wind wanker. Anyway, so final thoughts for the episode, rankings, and all of the shenanigans that we usually do.
I'll go with mine first. Let everybody get theirs out of the way or get theirs done. I'm going to give this. I'm going to agree with Johnny on this. It's like a 7.25 out of 10. Danny's titles, because she's better than every fucking buddy.
I'm gonna say it's maybe a 7.75. Well, no, we'll go ahead and just make it a cool 8. Fucks that Lady Olenna did not give.
Yes. And John's now disappeared, so I'll have to give my ranking. So I'll go with 8 because it's a good episode. It's a monumental episode for John and Danny. But let's see. I'll give it 8 Sansa and her creepy brother conversations, which is like her creepy brother conversations featuring Sansa. Just like, god damn it. Yeah, John, what do you rank this episode?
I would give this episode initially a 4.
A 4?
A 4, damn.
But you have 2 things. You have A, the awesomeness that is Lady Olenna. And B, you have the pseudo-awesomeness that is Jamie in this episode, which we didn't go into, but I actually like Jamie in this episode quite a bit. So I'll give this a 7.5.
What? 7.5 what, John?
7.5. I want her to know it was me's.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. So, all right. So we're getting some great ones in the chat here. I'll start from the bottom and go up. So go home, Gertie. Abby goes 8 out of 10. Storming sewer castles. The best one though, we have Lady Olenna Dane Starpel, 8 out of 10. Best one though that got me was Imagination Realms, 8 out of 10. Big Dick Danny's or Tyrion Horror Hideaways. I love that one. Sasuke has 2 of them. The first one, the second one is 6.5 out of 10 out of pretty poisonous lipsticks. But her other 6.5 out of 10 is Cersei Butts. Agreed. 6.5.
There was another one that was 6.5 fingers in the butt. So
yeah, yes.
Oh my.
Let's see.
DA's 10 out of 10, but 10 out of 10 what?
On the next note, DA says next is 10 out of 10. Next up says 10 out of 10. He gave it this one an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10, convulsing, masturbating, unsullied. Wow.
Wow.
And this is why when we are in ginger ale chat, OTDA, the one true David Adams, is known as Dirty D.
Right.
He lives up to the name. I appreciate you, good sir.
Alamar gives this 8.5 fucks that were promised.
Luke gives it 9.5. This episode happens. This happens.
I love OTDA because he makes me feel like a clean, decent gentleman.
I have no idea, but more earlier this week, and cheers, my friend. We mesh very well, so
Yeah, Imagination Realm. I read everyone's ranking in the 12 Days of Christmas Melody. So now it's like, if you gave it a 1, what'd you give it? 1 out of, I don't know, like a 2. We have to give like 1 to 4 or 5. Sorry,
one autistic brand making, I don't know, something out of everyone. One autistic brand viewing Sansa's rape.
Yeah, then it's like 2 Sansa creepy brother dress comments. 3 times Samuel doesn't get in trouble. I don't know, like multiple things. We'd have to come up with this. Like by probably the end of episode club, we will have figured it out.
We will do a 12 Days of Christmas ranking style of from 1 to 12. What do you rank? Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at it. We need to plan that.
On the scale of Sansa being raped to Joffrey dying at the Purple Wedding, how do you rate this episode?
Exactly. Anyway,
on that note, I think we need to sign out.
That's, I'm not trying to make a joke of Sansa. That's like the worst of the worst of the worst of this. So that's where I'm going with, like, that's
yeah. That's far worse than what I was gonna say, which is just like there's only one real fandom that's worth talking about, and that would be one Golden Ring.
Anyway, so where can everybody find you, and what are your upcoming things you got going on?
I'll go ahead and get mine out the way. I believe on Friday evening, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, me and Lady Diligence, also known as Black Wildling, and T-Baby will be discussing the latest teaser footage that has been put out. On Saturday, I believe there's something brewing with DJ11. I got a message from her earlier, so I'll have to check that out. Stay tuned. I'll probably be talking about American Gods at some point with Fandom D Saint and Laving Shadow. And besides that, I'll be at Ice and Fire Con at the end of the month. So if you guys are gonna be there, then come through and say what's up.
Yeah, I think actually 3 of the 4 of us left on the panel are going to be there. But I will be at Ice Fire Con as well with the rest of the Drinks and Nose crew. This Saturday, I believe Luke, Abby, correct me if I'm wrong, we're thinking of doing a trailers and kind of just hangout stream to kind of just have some fun Saturday evening. Subject to change for date and time and stuff. Also, keep an eye on the Drinks and Nose channel next week, because I have some sit-down interviews with several people from the community that I was able to congeal together for just about half an hour each. Just have some fun sit-down chats with. Citadel Trivia, I'm hosting the week after the first episode, so three weeks from now. Or, yeah, not this Friday, not next Friday, the following Friday.
We're 11 days from the premiere.
Yes. So 3 trivias from now, 3 Fridays from now, I'm hosting Citadel Trivia. And then just anything else, find me on the podcast.com. We have all of our different podcasts and stuff. Kenzie, again, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's always been a fun time. AK, John, love you guys. It's been a pleasure.
No
word. Absolutely. Thank you so much for always hanging with me and listening to my ramblings, all of you guys and everyone in the chat. We have 19 watching now, and we're at 30 likes. So, the fam came through.
We're doing very well.
I appreciate that, y'all.
Yeah, we're doing really well today. John, where can the people find you, and where do the people come to find music?
John said Baptise music makes people come together. Actually, the minute after this stream is over, the season 7 playlist is dropping. And this was a hard one for me because I really don't care for this season very much, but I put together what I think is a fracking awesome playlist that I'm very proud of. As Ben said, himself, me, and Alicia are all going to be to Ice and Fire Con. And I hope maybe we can all sit down and have supper together. Break bread, share salt. Might be a good thing. Anybody want to pick up on that? Anybody?
I got it, and I'm not even going. Guess, but it'd have to be in your room because then it's guest right. Anyway,
I don't really go in my room except to sleep. I like to live in my office in the ugly green chair, like that.
Anyway,
that's all I do. It's like I live in the ugly green chair. But so I'm looking forward to that, and there's something very special coming up on my channel for season 8 of Game of Thrones that I'm truly looking forward to. Thank you for letting me hijack your channel because you, I think inadvertently sent me the link tonight. I was just like, okay, I must be here. And you were like,
I'll explain it later, but
I'm not sure. I don't think you are, but cool.
Anyway, yeah, and since Johnny had to drop out, you can find him at Johnny Be Crazy, and John should be on there on. Speaking of John, you should be there on Friday at some point.
Yeah, I'm really stoked about that because he's talking about everybody is doing all this season 8 stuff, and I have been avoiding any spoilers, any teasers, anything like that. I know my picture's frozen. Can you still hear me?
Mm-hmm. I can still hear.
So Johnny and I were talking, because I'm so adamant about avoiding things like that. He's gonna have me on his channel on Friday to talk about my season 8 speculations from the point of view of somebody who literally twirls through anything on Twitter, skips any adverts, any intros, any interviews, any teasers, anything like that. So I'm pretty excited, and I think I'll find out in about 3 weeks if anybody else thinks what I think. But I'm pretty stoked about that.
You're muted, Santa.
I said, yeah. And yes, also tomorrow on Johnny's channel, I know he talked about it, but Fake Aria, also known as Bravoxy Broadcast, will be on a Nooners of Locations and Lore White Harbor edition. I've heard what they talk about, and apparently it's really, really, really good. So if you can, check that out. It's awesome. Or it's will be an awesome rewatch if you can't. But it's just a really good one. And yeah, check out John's channel. He has so much stuff. And on Saturday, I should be talking with him about Varys and what's Varys' plan for the end game. And speaking of my stuff, you can find me here on my channel, where next Wednesday we will be talking Season 7, Episode 6, Beyond the Wall. Another Danny and John-centric episode, but hey, it's a good one. Talk about that. And all of the previous episodes that we've skipped over will be coming out as either will probably be coming out as premieres as well podcasts, because hey, we ran out of time this week, but we'll get back to it. Yeah, and you can also find me on the Cylon Johns, which is Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking season 2, episode 13. I can never remember how. Epiphanies. There we go. And yeah, subscribe if you are new here. We talk all about Game of Thrones, and on still every Wednesday night when the season airs, we'll be talking about it again. So join us next Wednesday and subscribe to all of the people on my panel because they're awesome. And we'll see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.